What would you say if I told you that Iran and Saudi Arabia, two long-standing rivals, are on the verge of a significant diplomatic shift? A surprising statement, isn't it? Yet, that's precisely the current state of affairs between these two Middle Eastern powerhouses. For years, their rivalry has been marked by proxy wars, severed diplomatic ties, and a deep-seated mistrust. But recent years have seen a change in tone, a glimmer of hope for improved relations. The arrival of President Joe Biden in the United States has undeniably altered the regional dynamics. His administration's push to restart a nuclear deal with Iran and calls for Saudi Arabia to end its war against Yemen's Houthi forces have nudged these nations towards dialogue. Iran, on its part, has confirmed talks with Saudi Arabia, expressing a willingness to resolve their issues. Simultaneously, Saudi Arabia has acknowledged these talks, emphasizing their aim to reduce regional tensions. This diplomatic dance is not without its challenges. Saudi Arabia still has concerns about Iran's behavior, including its nuclear program and support for proxies. Yet the talks in Vienna aim to bring the US and Iran back into compliance with the nuclear deal, a move that Saudi Arabia supports. So, as we stand on the brink of a potentially transformative meeting between Iran and Saudi Arabia, let's delve into the events that led us here. The path to this upcoming meeting has been anything but straightforward. It's a journey that began years ago, marked by conflict, rivalry, and a tangled web of geopolitical interests. The story begins in 2016, a year stained by severed diplomatic ties between Iran and Saudi Arabia. The two countries, already enmeshed in proxy wars, found their relationship further strained. It was a time of heightened tension, with the power dynamics in the region resembling a high-stakes chess game. The chessboard extended across the Middle East, where the rivalry between Iran and Saudi Arabia played out in proxy conflicts, each country vying for influence and dominance. Then, a subtle shift. A change in tone from Saudi Arabia was welcomed by Iran. The two countries, despite their differences, expressed hope for improved relations and cooperation. A glimmer of hope, perhaps, but a significant one nonetheless. This change in tone was the precursor to recent talks held in Iraq. A desire to stabilize the region, coupled with a willingness to engage in dialogue, marked a potential thaw in relations. Yet even as the ice began to melt, Saudi Arabia expressed concerns about Iran's behavior, including its nuclear program and support for proxies. Enter the United States, a key player in this geopolitical drama. The arrival of President Joe Biden brought about a shift in the diplomatic landscape. The Biden administration expressed its intention to restart a nuclear deal with Iran and called for Saudi Arabia to end its war against Yemen's Houthi forces. Iran, in turn, promised to use its influence to halt Houthi attacks on Saudi Arabia in exchange for Saudi support in the nuclear talks. This complex interplay of diplomatic maneuvering and political posturing has set the stage for the upcoming meeting between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Each step, each decision, each twist and turn in this road to the meeting has been influenced by a multitude of factors. With this backdrop, the upcoming meeting is poised to be a significant event in the region's history. Now, with the stage set for a potentially historic meeting, what are the key points to look out for? And what could this mean for the wider region? The first item on the agenda is likely to be Iran's nuclear program. This has long been a point of contention, with Saudi Arabia expressing concerns over Iran's nuclear ambitions. The meeting could provide an opportunity for Iran to assuage these fears and to demonstrate a commitment to peaceful nuclear development. Next, the issue of proxy conflicts is expected to take center stage. The rivalry between Iran and Saudi Arabia has resulted in numerous proxy wars across the Middle East, causing widespread instability. This meeting could pave the way for a reduction in these proxy conflicts, signaling a move towards peace and stability in the region. Then, the role of the United States in the region will undoubtedly be a topic of discussion. The arrival of President Joe Biden has altered the diplomatic landscape, with the US seeking to restart a nuclear deal with Iran, while also calling for an end to Saudi Arabia's war against Yemen's Houthi forces. The meeting could further redefine the relationship between these two nations, and the United States. Now, what are the potential implications of this meeting? A successful dialogue could lead to a decrease in regional tensions, a step towards stabilizing the region. This could have a ripple effect, impacting the political dynamics of the entire Middle East. It might also serve as a starting point for improved relations between Iran and Saudi Arabia, which would be a significant development after years of hostility. There's also the possibility of a shift in the balance of power in the region. If Iran and Saudi Arabia can find common ground, this could change the geopolitical landscape, potentially reducing the influence of external powers like the US. However, these are just possibilities. The outcome of the meeting will depend on the willingness of both parties to compromise and work towards common goals. As the meeting draws closer, the world watches with bated breath, waiting to see how these two regional powerhouses will shape the future of the Middle East.